Hello and welcome to parts 119 and 120 of Build the Terminator. The finale, the final part, the end. Now, the reason I don't have the parts here is because the parts for 119 are scattered around my table there. And if you don't know what's happening in 120, I want that to be a bit of a surprise for you because it's quite amusing to me what you need to do in 120. But we'll come to that. Okay, first of all, I want you to put 3 of these really long screws through the back of the top of this top bar, which is attaching to the support bar that I've already made, like so. And then you need to put a sleeve on the end. Now, obviously this is the same both sides. It's saying, I think it's saying that the back of the bar is the side with the holes along, so it looks like a bit like a flute. But it would have been really nice if, instead of these pictures just showing the top of it, they showed a little bit further down so you could see the holes weren't there. This is the only one of the only parts out of 120 issues that has not been clear. And right at the end, that's a bit of a shame. But I think what they're saying is that the back is the side with the holes in. So that's how I'm going to do it. And we'll see how that goes. And next, I need to put this on top of the screws, spaced away from the bar with the sleeves that I put on. All of this is loose right now, it's really strange. And then I have to do these nuts up to each of the screws, which I'm not quite sure how that's going to go because I don't have a proper pair of pliers that's small enough to do this. So I'm just going to have to use my awkward massive pliers and hope for the best. Well, that was easier than I thought it would be. These tightened up with this massive thing. I know it's not subtle, but it works. So next, I am slotting 2 big metal poles into 2 other big metal poles. That's the smooth side, the holes around the other side, as are the pins that you saw in the last video. But I'm going to try and get this on somehow. It's not lining up, but hopefully it's all going to slot into place, quite literally. Well, it's on there. That's the whole bar. It's quite tall. It actually stopped at the pegs. I don't really see how that's adjustable, but maybe I'll find that out later. Next, I need to decide how to arrange this chain. Pretty much any way you want to. Sorry about the bar getting in the way there. It says you can glue it, but however you want, which is quite cool. I like that chain. Adds that last extra bit of detail. So guess what's next, people? What's next is something I'm going to have to show you on the instruction manual, because turning the Terminator over when I've not finished it is not much of an issue, but turning it over when I have finished it is definitely an issue, because there's lots of additional extra parts that are quite delicate, and if I bend them out of shape, all sorts of horrible things could happen. So I'm going to work out a way to access the back of the Terminator, and I have to screw these 2 pins into the back, and that will then support the whole Terminator on the frame. I've fallen at the last hurdle because a couple of springs have pinged off of the hand linkage, so I'm going to have to try and do a very careful repair job with 2 of the springs in the hand, which is unfortunate, but who said Terminators were perfect? Yes, all the way to the top. He's not operational yet. That's coming hopefully in the final part And the final part is coming momentarily. I just wanted to give you a full tour there. I haven't decided how I want to arrange that chain yet. So, guess what it's time for now? It's time for the final part of the whole build. 2 years of waiting, and I'll show you what I've waited for. This is 120. Do you know what I have to do in 120? I have to build the remote control myself, people. Now, this is what I call thorough. Alright, first thing I have to do is take this piece, which is the front of the control, and I love the Terminator logo there, and I have to fit all 4 of these pieces into the slots. So 2 there and 2 there. I'm not entirely sure why I have to do this bit. All the rest is very obvious, but this is not. So, and we've even got a miniature pillar, just like in the base, on the top of the inside of the remote control there. I've never made a remote control before, but then I've never made a Terminator before, so can't complain. Well, that wasn't the most fun I've ever had, but they're in there. Saying to put glue around the ridges of really tiny thin pieces of clear plastic is a lot easier said than done. I think I've made a fairly tidy job of it. Can't see any leaking, but I mean, if you get any glue in the middle of the clear plastic, it's all over, because that's going to go all cloudy as far as I'm aware. Next, I need to detach all the buttons for my remote control and then put them in the appropriate holes, as it says. So next time you see this, it'll be filled with little buttons, and happily for me, there's no more gluing. I just have to press them in there and they'll magically reappear on the other side. Well, that's my theory anyway. Okay, I had to break a little bit to charge my phone a bit then, because it's constantly running out of battery right now. I would show you the other side, but if I did that, then I'd turn it over, all the buttons would fall out again, so can't do that just yet. Next thing I have to do is take this circuit board, which looks a little bit like a coffin, and put it over. It says to make sure you put all the contacts over all the buttons, but what I found to be a better thing to do is line up with the 4 pillars on a remote control. Then you can't go wrong placing it on the top there, but we're not screwing it down just yet, because next I need to take the other side of the remote control and for some bizarre reason put a little nut right at the bottom there in the middle hole, you can see, and put a little bit of super glue there to keep it in place. Seems a bit excessive to me, but that's what they say, so that's what I'll do. I made a right pig's ear of that. I was trying to be all fancy with my special tweezers there to put the nut right down the bottom. In the end, the nut flipped over and glue's on the other side now, so let's hope that doesn't matter too much. Next, I need to plug the connector into the other side of the control. Definitely one of the weirdest maneuvers I've ever done. It's connected, but I actually just took the circuit board back off again and did it that way, because there was no way I could do it with it still lying flat like that. Okay, well, after 2 years, here is the final part. It's slightly anticlimactic, isn't it? I have to put this onto the back like so. That's all clicked in place nicely, and hopefully the buttons are all still there in one place. Oh yes, I've got a feeling that yeah, I hope there's not supposed to be light coming out. No, there's not supposed to be light coming out of there. I don't even know why these clear bits are there, to be honest with you. Anyway, I think they're just detailing, because there's no lights coming out of them. It'd be nice if there were. But anyway, now I have to get this screwed in with some little tiny screws. And I've got to work out which ones they are, because there are about 3 different sizes here. So let me go and work out which are which, and then I will show you what I've done. Okay, they're all screwed in now, but this thing rattles, which is a little bit concerning. Those are all the buttons, all intact, all hopefully on the contacts, except for that one, which is not doing a lot. Oh, there we go. That feels better. Alright. It's all in the angle, people. Strange. Anyway, all the rest are fine. And now, finally, I do realise why there were two different, not three different sizes of screw, because the last one is for the battery cover. So I'm going to put some batteries in here now. Batteries are in, and time to put the cover on. This is the final stage. Not too exciting, not too Terminator-y, was it? I'm going to screw this in place. Okay, that's vaguely screwed in place. It's not all the way down or flush, but never mind. It's holding the batteries in. Okay, now is the moment of truth. I'm going to turn this thing on and then start crying if it doesn't actually do anything. Shall we have a go? Now, for copyright reasons, I think I'm not allowed to go through the whole theme tune, but I think I can do the sound effects if it works. Okay, hello again, people. I'm filming this on a different day. The reason is because I had a problem with the bass. The problem was the bass didn't work, so that wasn't very fun. And then I discovered that the instructions fell on the final hurdle, because what they should not have told you to do, which is a mistake, is to put the batteries in before you even put the compartment of the batteries in. That is wrong. You should not do that, because all that will happen then is, as soon as you turn the base over and you've put the battery compartment in, what will happen is it's weighed down a ton by the batteries. So the batteries will then pull the compartment onto the floor, because one of the last stages that you're working on is the support bar. All that will happen then is the weight of the batteries pulls the wire out, and what I found is that wire was pulled completely out, and it then pulled the power connector out. Here is what you need, what you should do. You should not put the batteries in before you've finished the base. So I hope they correct the instructions if they run this again. But that being said, it's time to light it up and show you these amazingly bright lights that really do enhance the Terminator, the look of the Terminator. You can really light the thing up beautifully, and how you choose, and they actually light pretty much the whole height of the Terminator and make it look very dramatic in different areas. How you'd like it, you can really customize it and give it a nice look. And another thing I would say is that this video and the photos that I've taken for people do not do it justice. So you really have to see this thing for yourself. So my advice is go and build one. As for the sounds, well, hang on, let me put the skull back on for some maximum immersion here. Okay, I can't play too much apparently, because I might get my video disallowed for copyright. So I'm going to skim past the theme tune and play the other bits. So there you go. It is extremely loud. Well, it's not extremely loud, but it's quite loud. The speaker sound is quite muffled, unfortunately. Not too impressed with that. Theirs is plasma rifle there. Unfortunately, while I was trying to get him to hold the gun, which he will do eventually, but I'll show you that in another video once I've finished editing all of these final ones. One of the fingers, the index finger no less, it snapped off. But that wasn't too catastrophic because of my finger mods. One of the bits pinged off somewhere, but I did find, no, it's the middle finger that snapped off, sorry. I did find a little piece that I needed to reconnect it. Now, this is another aspect of the finger mods for this thing, because I think if that had been the original finger joint connectors, and that had happened, if the finger had snapped off, I would have been stuffed. I would have had to glue the finger on. It would have looked very tragic, as I'm sure you can imagine. Another thing is I really love how easy it is to pose. He says that the head falls off. Hopefully not. But last time I did, it was really easy to pose. The arms, they're a bit more tricky because you have to be very careful of all the joints, and some bits they do come loose, and I've had bits pop out I've had to put back again. But in general, all in all, this has been 2 years that's been very worth it to me. It's felt worth it. I felt like I've really achieved, like I've not wasted my time. The instructions, as I say, for 99.9% of the time were first class. It's only in the last couple of stages about the battery compartment in particular, I was not very happy about that, because what they tell you to do will result in the battery compartment pulling the power lead out. So that's not very helpful. But anyway, that being said, that is the end of my Build the Terminator. Hope you have enjoyed watching. I know not everybody has followed me from the very start. That's unfortunate. You don't really get the sense of the whole journey with me. But I would implore you to go back to the start, although you may feel that's pointless now because you've already seen what the end result is. Thank you for all your support for the last 2 years, and thank you to my new subscribers. He's very bright. I have very much enjoyed making this, and I love the results. Just trying to think, I've been taking photos of it all the time, and I'm trying to think how I can pose it, but I think it's very impressive. Let me know what you think. I'd love to know. I'd love to see your comments, and of course I will reply to just about every one of them. And that is it. The end. And last word from you, Mr. Terminator? That doesn't count.